Devil fruits in One Piece can awaken. They give their users more special new abilities and transformations. Today I will introduce you to all the awakened devil fruits in One Piece so far in the story. At the end of the video I also have an exciting theory on how devil fruits are awakened in One Piece. But first we need to clarify something. What is the awakening of a devil fruit? Devil fruit awakenings were first mentioned in chapter 544 by Sir Crocodile. In this chapter, Crocodile is talking about the guardian beasts in Impel Down and the fact that their Zoan devil fruits are awakened. At this point in the story, we readers were not aware of what exactly Crocodile's statement was all about. There was speculation that only Zoan devil fruit users could awaken their devil fruit, and that this would lead to increased regenerative abilities. However, we were wrong about that. In chapter 785, Doflamingo reveals that Paramecia devil fruit users can also awaken their abilities. According to Doflamingo, awakening a devil fruit is a new level of that devil fruit. Very rarely, devil fruits awaken, and then the fruit's ability becomes transferable not only to the user, but to other objects as well. We saw in 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒𝚝 that Doflamingo can turn houses into threats to attack Luffy. We learn in the fight between Law, Kid and Big Mom that awakening a devil fruit is a gift. That's all Law has to say about this. So the awakening of a devil fruit may well be connected to RNG. A little bit like shinies in Pokemon. At the end of the video I have some more potential explanations of how a devil fruit awakening can occur. Through Dr. Vegapunk we have received some potential new information here. In the storyline as of chapter 1069, we have yet to see a confirmed awakened Logia devil fruit user. It may well be that some already known Logia users have awakened their fruit, but more about that later. Let's now move on to the 10 confirmed awakened devil fruit users. As mentioned earlier, 4 of the guardian beasts in Impel Down have awakened their devil fruit. By awakening their Zoan fruit, they have enhanced regenerative abilities that allow them to bounce back quickly even after a knockout. Sir Crocodile had already mentioned this during the Impel Down prison break. The design of the guardian beast doesn't necessarily resemble a classic hybrid Zoan design. The torsos of these users are immense. A possible explanation could be that the characters who consumed them are very buffed. Since we've only seen the guardian beasts in hybrid form so far, we don't know yet if the physical appearance of the users will change again. Similar to Chopper and his monster point. Possibly Chopper artificially activates the awakening of his own devil fruit through his rumble ball. Next we have Don Quixote Doflamingo, the former king of Dressrosa. Doflamingo is the first known Paramecia devil fruit user to have his fruit awakened. Through Doflamingo we have also learned that any devil fruit can awaken. Doflamingo can produce and control threats through his devil fruit. Through his awakening he was also able to turn other objects into threats and control them. He used this extremely powerful ability several times against Luffy. However, Luffy was able to withstand these attacks and defeat Doflamingo in the end. In the Whole Cake Island arc we were then presented with the next awakened Paramecia devil fruit user. I'm of course talking about Charlotte Katakuri with his Mochi Mochi no Mi. With this devil fruit, Katakuri can produce Mochi and also control it, and also transform into Mochi. Although Katakuri can also transform into his element, this devil fruit is classified as a Paramecia and not a Logia. In chapter 863 the Mochi Mochi no Mi was mentioned by name for the first time, and there it was incorrectly classified as a Logia. However, in the manga volume release it was changed to a special Paramecia. It is likely that the fruit was not classified as a Logia because it is not an element in nature. Katakuri used the awakening of his devil fruit in the battle against Luffy in the Mirror World. In the fight against Luffy, Katakuri presents us with various abilities with his awakened special Paramecia fruit. Similar to Doflamingo, Katakuri was also able to transform other objects into Mochi to use against Luffy. For example, he could turn the ground into Mochi and chase Luffy with it. That is actually an attack that Luffy copied from him. Now we are getting into spoiler territory. The following characters are only awakened in the manga and not yet in the anime. If you don't want to be spoiled, it's best to now turn this video off. In chapter 1030 we learn that Eustace Kid and Trafalgar Law have awakened their devil fruit. Unfortunately, we don't know when exactly this happened to them. On Dressrosa, for example, Law has not yet used his awakened devil fruit. Possibly it happened after the defeat of Doflamingo. Law is able to create a room to perform operations on his opponents without a classical room. The room is created in his hand, and Law then manipulates this small room as he does in his big room. Besides the room, he has some other attacks. With anesthesia, Law coats his blade Kikoku with a room, which allows the blade to change its size. With Shock Ville, he then triggers electric shocks inside the body of his opponents. Another awakened ability from the Ope Ope no Mi is Punctureville. With this ability, Law stabs his chrome-coated blade Kikoku into his opponent, making it grow like Son Goku's monk staff. Law created a hole in Onigashima and a big crater on Wano Kuni with his attack, and then Big Mom fell into it. Kid also unpacked 2 cool awakened abilities with his Jiki Jiki no Mi. First, he can use the Assign attack to make other characters or objects magnetic. Through Panclash, he can then make that person's magnetism get stronger and stronger, and the character then attracts an incredible amount of metallic objects, just like we've already seen with Big Mom. Kid is also able to create an electromagnetic cannon that can then fire laser beams. I guess except for Big Mom, he can destroy just about anything with this weapon. Then in chapter 1044 we get to see the next awakened Devil Fruit user in One Piece. It's about our hero in the plot. Luffy has now already won against 2 opponents who had an awakened Devil Fruit. Both of them were awakened Paramecia Devil Fruit users. For a long time it was thought to be the same Devil Fruit category as Luffy's, but that is not quite true. Since chapter 1044, Luffy's Devil Fruit has a new name. It's now called the Hito Ito no Mi Model Nika. Through his Zoan Devil Fruit, Luffy became a rubber human. Luffy activates his awakening by beating his heartbeat in a certain rhythm. This beat is also called the Drums of Liberation. His awakening consists of being able to shape his surroundings and turn them into rubber, like in a kind of Toon World. Luffy himself also becomes a kind of cartoon character through his awakening. For example, his eyes fall out of his face when Kaido attacks him with a Boro breath. Also, Luffy can take on a bulky Popeye-like form that allows him to increase his torso and arms without changing into Gear 3rd. Luffy calls this awakening, by the way, Gear 5th. He also showed us in this form how he can turn the ground into rubber to redirect a Boro breath from Kaido. Also in this form, Luffy can change his height and become a giant. He can even turn intangible things like lightning into rubber, and he can form his fist so huge that it becomes as big as Onigashima. Luffy's awakening has really given him a massive arsenal of new abilities. In chapter 1069 we get to see the next awakened Devil Fruit user. Rob Lucci apparently received his awakening sometime after his defeat by Luffy. Lucci's awakening form has this cloud-like aura. Unlike Luffy and Yamato's, however, Lucci's looks like an extension of his fur. Oda surely wanted to build a visual resemblance to Luffy's Gear 5th. This of course takes the rematch between Luffy and Lucci to a whole new artistic dimension. Currently we haven't gotten to see much of Lucci's awakened abilities. He's very fast and significantly stronger in this form, but Luffy in his Gear 5th form seems to be playing with Lucci a bit. So let's wait and see how this turns out. These are the confirmed awakened Devil Fruit users in One Piece so far as of chapter 1069. We can strongly expect to see 1 or 2 or even more awakened Devil Fruit users in the future. But now let's talk about some theories on how Devil Fruits might awaken. With chapter 1069 we got some new clues about it. In this chapter Dr. Vegapunk talks about his thesis on how Devil Fruits came to be. His thesis is that Devil Fruits are created by people's needs and desires. By obtaining the Devil Fruit abilities, these needs or desires and dreams then come true. At least this is a theory of Vegapunk. However, in the current timeline, it seems that it's no longer possible to obtain Devil Fruit abilities in such a way. In the present, these abilities are transferred by fruits. This new info has then given rise to a theory that a Devil Fruit awakening might only come about it if the current user of the fruit uses its abilities for the original desire or purpose. For example, the original desire for the Ito Ito no Mi's abilities might have been control over others. Doflamingo uses his Devil Fruit for oppression of the inhabitants of Dressrosa and to be a kind of puppeteer. Maybe this synchronization with the original desire of the abilities then triggers the awakening. I would actually really like this explanation because it would then give each Devil Fruit its own type of awakening. It will also explain why not every strong character in One Piece is able to trigger his awakening. According to this thesis, it is then also completely logical why Kaido and Big Mom did not use their awakening on Wano, because they are not using their Devil Fruit abilities for what they were actually created for. Perhaps Oda is also saving the awakening of the Seiryu fruit for Momo in the future. We now know that this artificial Devil Fruit was a failure only because of its color. Possibly Momo will align his artificial Devil Fruit with the desire of these abilities. That would be kind of cool. Finally, I would like to talk about some awakened Devil Fruit users. I'm pretty sure that Sakazuki and Kuzan have awakened their Logia Devil Fruits. The most common assumption is that awakened Logia Devil Fruit users are able to completely change the climate of other islands. On Pankazat, this is exactly what happened. Because of the battle between Aokiji and Akainu, the climate of Pankazat has changed forever. If we take the concept of awakened Paramecia fruits, then it makes perfect sense that the awakened elemental abilities of the Logia users would permanently stay where they are used. That would be be a pretty interesting concept, and it would explain 1 or 2 islands in the world of One Piece. Thus, the Absurd Islands would be created by awakened Paramecia or Logia devil fruits. Raijin Island, for example, could then have been created by a user of the Goro Goro no Mi. We will certainly see awakened Logia fruit users in the plot, or we will get confirmation that Aokiji and Takainu have awakened devil fruits. Most likely, Kizaru will also have his fruit awakened. It would just fit thematically that the first 3 admirals have awakened Logia fruits. It has also been speculated for some time now that Sir Crocodile is also an awakened devil fruit. After all, he was the first character to tell us about this concept. In addition, he's able to extract moisture from other objects and then dissolves them into dust or sand. That sounds a lot like an awakened devil fruit ability. Currently, the whole thing is not yet confirmed. I wouldn't mind if Sir Crocodile has an awakened ability. Which awakening would you like to see in the story? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you liked this video, why not watch this one next?